Did you know that an old tire can take up to 4,000 years to disappear and still end up transformed into a high-performance road? For decades, used tires were one of the most polluting waste materials on the planet, accumulating in landfills and releasing toxic substances. But today, what was once considered trash has been transformed into a key resource for modern engineering. In this video, you will discover how millions of discarded tires go through a complex industrial process to be reborn as rubberized asphalt, a more durable, quieter and sustainable material that is changing the way roads are built worldwide. For centuries, used tires were one of the planet's most problematic waste materials. A single tire can take up to 4,000 years to degrade naturally, which made it a symbol of extreme pollution for decades. Its chemical composition, resistance to the passage of time, and volume made them practically impossible to manage safely. In many countries, they were simply piled up in open landfills, creating real environmental time bombs. However, what was once considered toxic waste has now transformed into one of the most coveted resources in modern engineering. Used tires have become the so-called black gold of contemporary road construction. In this journey, we will follow the amazing rebirth of a tire from the moment it is discarded to its conversion into rubberized asphalt, a material with superior properties that is revolutionizing roads around the world. Every year, the planet discards over 1.5 billion tires. The number is so huge that, seen from the air, many storage areas look like black oceans stretching to the horizon. When abandoned in the natural environment, tires not only remain intact for decades, but also slowly release toxic organic compounds and heavy metals, contaminating soils and aquifers. In regions of the United States, Europe, and the Middle East, these waste products have been responsible for some of the most severe pollution hotspots. Paradoxically, this mountain of waste was the trigger for a multi-billion-dollar industry, rubberized asphalt. Just 1 kilometer of road can reuse up to 10,000 tires, while significantly improving pavement durability, reducing crack formation, and decreasing traffic noise by about 6 decibels. What once represented an environmental problem is now emerging as one of the most promising sustainable building materials of the 21st century. Every day, in the quiet rhythm of modern cities, thousands of tires reach the end of their useful life at workshops, maintenance stations, replacement centers, and scrapyards. Most have already exceeded the safe limits of wear, elasticity, and load capacity. Although in many markets, a used tire is worth just a few cents as scrap, for the recycling industry, it represents a true urban mine. Inside each tire, there is a complex combination of natural rubber, synthetic rubber, reinforcing steel, textile fibers, and chemical additives. All of these materials can be recovered and reused with high economic value if processed correctly. Collection is organized through fixed routes, using specialized trucks with large capacity platforms and secure fastening systems that allow the efficient transport of large volumes. This system not only reduces logistical costs, but also prevents tires from being stored outdoors, where they can accumulate water and become breeding grounds for disease-transmitting insects. Once at the recycling plant, a highly controlled and technologically demanding process begins. The first major difficulty is the steel reinforcement embedded in the tire. This metal ring is responsible for keeping the tire firmly attached to the rim at high speeds, but on a recycling line, it becomes the biggest obstacle. If not removed beforehand, it can damage blades, axles, and completely stop the shredding system. At this initial stage, the tires are introduced into specialized machines for ring extraction. Inside, a hydraulic system with high-strength hooks digs deeply into the tire's bead and applies immense force to tear the steel core apart in a matter of seconds. The tension is so extreme that the rubber body twists and deforms violently during the process. On average, each heavy-duty truck tire can yield around 2 kilograms of high-quality carbon steel. Once separated, this steel is manually collected, compacted into bales, and sent directly to metallurgical plants, where it begins a completely different life cycle. The rest of the tire, now free from the metal ring, is much more flexible and ready for the next phase, coarse shredding. Before starting the mechanical processing, the tires pass through a high-pressure washing system that removes mud, oil residue, and embedded stones. Although it may seem like a secondary step, it is essential to protect the cutting blades and axles from premature wear. In the primary shredding, whole tires are fed into high-torque machines where alloy steel blades slowly rotate, cutting them into several centimeter fragments. This low-speed method reduces heat generation, preventing the rubber from softening or sticking to the blades. The fragments then move on to secondary grinding, where their size is further reduced. In this phase, the remaining internal steel is mechanically fractured and gradually separated from the rubber. Powerful magnetic systems recover the metal directly from the material flow, generating an additional stream of recyclable steel. The final result is crushed rubber with a carefully controlled particle size. The tire has completely lost its original shape and has now been transformed into a raw material ready for new industrial applications. All the material passes through screening systems that classify the particles. Those that do not meet the required size are sent back to the mill. Among all the fractions resulting from the shredding and classification process, the one between 0.5 and 2 mm is the most relevant from an industrial point of view, as it corresponds to the particle size used in the production of rubberized asphalt. This specific grain size allows for proper integration of the rubber within the asphalt binder, bringing improvements in elasticity, durability, and deformation resistance. However, before this material can be incorporated into the mixture, an additional treatment is necessary. The crushed rubber still contains residual moisture, fine dust, and small impurities adhering to its surface, elements that hinder proper interaction with the binder. If not removed, these factors reduce adhesion capacity and compromise the stability and performance of the final asphalt. Therefore, this fraction must undergo further conditioning stages to ensure that the material is in optimal conditions for use in pavement production. For this reason, the crushed rubber must undergo a specific drying and heating phase before continuing with the process. Inside the plant, the granules are introduced into a rotating steel drum, arranged with a slight inclination and constant movement. Hot air is injected inside, typically generated by burners fueled with natural gas or fuel oil, reaching temperatures between 200 and 260 degrees. As the material advances and rotates inside the drum, the residual moisture is progressively removed, and the surface of the rubber becomes more chemically active. To prevent damage to the material, temperature sensors and airflow regulation systems continuously monitor the process, preventing overheating and preserving the internal structure of the polymer. In some plants, indirect heating systems are also used to keep the rubber isolated from direct contact with the flame. As a result of this stage, the rubber is in optimal conditions to interact with the bitumen. Once dried and preheated, it can more effectively absorb the components of the binder during mixing, resulting in more elastic asphalt with greater resistance to crack formation. After this treatment, the material proceeds to the phase where the true value of recycling is concentrated, its controlled incorporation into the bitumen. The bitumen is heated independently in special tanks until it reaches a homogeneous and stable liquid state, with temperatures typically ranging from 320 to 375 degrees. Once in these conditions, the crushed rubber is added in carefully controlled proportions, generally between 10 and 20% of the total weight of the binder, depending on the technical specifications of the asphalt to be produced. The mixture is made inside equipment equipped with paddles designed to withstand high temperatures. These paddles generate a continuous and uniform motion that keeps the bitumen and rubber in contact for a period that usually lasts between 30 and 60 minutes. This stirring time is not random, as it is essential for both materials to interact correctly. During this phase, the rubber does not merely distribute itself within the bitumen, but also absorbs part of its lighter oils and expands in a controlled manner. This phenomenon causes an increase in the viscosity of the mixture and significantly improves its elasticity, key characteristics for a pavement that is more resistant to deformation and crack formation. Throughout the process, control systems equipped with viscosity, temperature, and residence time sensors monitor each stage of the mixture. Thanks to this constant monitoring, a homogeneous distribution of rubber in the bitumen is ensured, preventing the formation of lumps and guaranteeing a stable and high-performance final material. Once ready, the mixture is unloaded into special trucks with preheated boxes to avoid premature cooling. The loading temperature is maintained between 270 and 300 degrees Celsius. On site, the mixture is poured into the paver, which distributes it evenly and extends it with a controlled thickness of between 1.5 and 3 inches. Steel rollers and pneumatic rollers work in coordination to compact the asphalt while it still retains the proper temperature. This phase is critical, as all compaction must be completed before the mixture drops below 180 degrees Fahrenheit, at which point the bitumen starts to lose its optimal adhesion capacity. If the process is executed correctly, within a few hours the surface reaches the necessary strength and the road can be reopened to traffic without compromising its quality. Over time, even rubberized asphalt suffers wear due to the constant load of traffic and climatic exposure. However, one of its greatest advantages is that it can be recycled again and again, almost without losing its technical properties. When a road reaches the end of its useful life, the pavement is removed, shredded, cleaned, and reintroduced into the industrial process, creating an almost continuous reuse cycle. Rubberized asphalt goes far beyond just an improvement in road construction. It represents a clear example of how a problematic waste can be transformed into an efficient and sustainable solution. Tires, once synonymous with pollution, are now becoming more durable, quieter roads with a lower environmental impact. Ultimately, the true value of a material does not depend on its origin, but on the intelligent use made of it.